Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Dr. Katie Snow, and today we are happy to welcome you to our Gut Reset coaching call number 1. So first of all, we want to say thank you for participating in our Gut Reset program. You made a good choice, and I know you're going to see some amazing results. And so I know a lot of you guys are dealing with a plethora of symptoms, whether it's hormone symptoms or just plain gut digestive symptoms, energy problems, the list goes on and on. And so by taking some time to really evaluate, listen to your body and make some changes, you can improve your gut health. And so I know this program is going to make some remarkable changes. So welcome to everyone. We're going to save some time at the end of this call to take some questions out of the chat box. So just make sure that you're sharing some questions as we go through some of this content today. So this will be about a 45-minute phone call, and we'll take care of some of those questions at the end. And I did have a couple of people ahead of time send me some questions, so we'll review those. So let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, we want to say that by having the discipline and the tools, which are found in this Gut Reset program, to beat the temptations, you'll be successful on this Gut Reset program. We have had many, many patients in our office do this program and just get some amazing results. Their energy came up. It's not a weight loss program, but many of them did lose some unwanted pounds. We've had people who just their cognitive function, their thinking is improved after this program. A lot of the bloating issues, and then of course skin issues. We've had a lot of people share that their skin's improved after doing the Gut Reset program. So using these tools, they work. We've gotten results before, and we know that you'll see results as well. Okay, so we'll start off. Number 1, remember, these are just tips for being more successful on the Gut Reset program. So number 1, remember, it's temporary. This is not forever. It's a 30-day window for you to do some nice spring cleaning for your gut and really reflect on what's been going on. And let's see if we can troubleshoot. Maybe there's a problematic food that you're consuming over and over again. And so this is a journey that we're going to take just the next 30 days and really listen to our body and see if we can really understand what it's trying to tell us. We have an innate, God put this innate ability inside of us to, allow our body to talk to us. And so that's what symptoms are. When symptoms, such as bloating or headache or, joint pain, that's the body trying to tell us, hey, something's not right. Let's take a little bit deeper look and see what's going on. So don't look at symptoms as annoying or problematic or just trying to shut them off. But we want to look at symptoms as like a gentle nudge for us to do some investigating and see what our body is trying to tell us. Okay, and then number 2, remember your why. So there's an exercise that we have in here to look at your purpose, to look at your why. And so it's really important that we examine that, because on those days where you feel a little frustrated as you're working your way through this 30-day Gut Reset program, you're going to have those days that are a little more daunting and heavy. And so if we can have our why in front of us, is it spending more time and being able to play with grandkids? Is it being able to garden or do your favorite hobby? Is it able to complete a full day of work and not come home and just feel so exhausted? So we need to look at what our why is and put that in front of us and make sure that we're looking at that as like, oh, okay, yep, that's why I'm doing this. A little bit more willpower behind it, because we want to get to that why or do it for the why. And number 3, being prepared. So we all know temptations are going to come, and it's easier when you're not starving. If you don't prepare ahead of time and you get to your say noon meal and you haven't brought a lunch with you or know what restaurants that you can go to that are safe, you're going to end up busting and having a food that you shouldn't have. And it just throws you off course. We're trying to get to a destination here on this journey with the Gut Reset program. And so if we can really be prepared. We can get through these 30 days and be very successful. So this is a gut healing diet, not a weight loss diet. Remember that. You need to consume enough calories for your body to heal. Make sure you allocate time to prepare your food so that you are prepared, and always have compliant foods available when you're hungry. Don't wait till you're hungry to start looking, because if you have to start preparing food while you're hungry, chances are, you'll end up eating something that you shouldn't eat. Make sure you have a plan A, B, and C. So A is to have your food ready. So that's, either having a couple days of the week where you're prepping out, maybe cutting up some vegetables, or just jotting down what you're going to eat for each meal. And we did provide a meal plan. So make sure you check that out. We did that just to make it easy for you guys. You definitely can pick the recipes that you want, as long as you're checking and making sure that the foods are all okay foods that are in line with the Gut Reset program. So we made it for you to make it easy, but you absolutely can make the recipes and the meals that you want to make. Plan B, make sure you have a plan B, that you have extra shelf stable or frozen leftovers available for when you run out. So if you've eaten the foods that you had prepped ahead of time, you can actually have some foods prepped and have them in the freezer, or just have them in the refrigerator. And so again, we're not counting calories. You can eat the foods that are available from the shopping guide or from the recipe guide, but just make sure that if you run out of those, you have some backup prepared. And then plan C is to identify local restaurants, stores, and food delivery services that have compliant foods. And it's definitely doable in this day and age. Number 4, set up your environment for success. So make sure you have plenty of compliant groceries around. Make sure you take any junk food or non-compliant groceries from your home, work, or car. And I'll give you a little tip here. So I have a family member who her husband likes to have, like the Little Debbie snack cakes and different candies and stuff. And so when she's done a program to make sure that she's successful and doesn't have those tempting foods around, she's actually assigned a place for him to keep those snacks out of the pantry. And so it's actually a little cooler in their dining room in the corner. And so he can go there, but it's not in her little path going in and out of the pantry. And so you don't have those temptations. And so I love that example. It's just so smart, thinking outside of the box ahead of time, so that you aren't falling into the trap of seeing some of those little snacks that you've eaten before, and then you get home and you've had a super frustrating day and you feel like you need a reward, and then you see, the chocolate Little Debbie snack cake. So make sure that you set up your environment where you're not going to, fall to some of these temptations that are around us. Number 5, communicate with people you spend time with. So this is one of the most important tips. Make sure that you communicate with people around you. It could be your family that you live with and share food with. Let them know that you're working on your health. Tell them it's about you. It's not about them. It's not personal. You're not mad at them. But if they know that you're working on your health, and they can be that support team for you, that you're going to be more successful. Tell your colleagues you're on a medical diet, or that your doctor ordered it. And the best case scenario is that your family and maybe some of your friends will want to join you. So I think that's a fabulous idea. Second best scenario is they continue to eat their typical diet, but they accommodate your choices. So if they know, they're going to make sure that they can do everything in their willpower to make sure that you're successful, because they love you. Worst case scenario is they feel threatened and actively try to sabotage you. But again, if we're talking to them seriously ahead of time, having a serious conversation, I would say 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a very helpful support group to make sure that you are successful. And then number 6, looking at social situations and festivities. So ideally, we want to do the gut reset away from major holidays and food-related celebrations, which there's a lot of those here in the United States. So there's Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. And then, of course, weddings and baby showers. Those are notorious for having snacky foods loaded with these different gut irritants that we're trying to remove from our diet. So if you have to attend a social event, bring food you can eat or eat before. And then number 7, having a plan of attack when cravings hit. So make sure that you eat compliant foods to eliminate hunger. Number 2, drink water. Number 3, make sure you're taking some deep breaths. A lot of times that can help overcome the anxiety associated with food cravings, rather than just immediately, jumping on board with what your brain's trying to tell you to eat the food that's in front of you that's tempting you. Number 4, distract yourself. So go for a walk, get in your car, go for a drive, maybe pick up the daily affirmations that we've provided as a part of this gut reset program, and pick up something you haven't done yet from the list and go for it. So having things that you can do that can allow you to step out of the situation is very helpful. And then number 5, we have used this for quite a number of years now. There's a kava liquid, and it's made by the company Herb Pharm, HERBPHARM. And they have a liquid kava, and it really helps lower anxiety when it comes to food cravings. So you can just open your tongue and put like 2 or 3 drops on your tongue. Just give it, about 2 minutes, and you'll feel a little bit of a calming sensation come about you. And so that's something we use in our practice with our patients. And it really does help to challenge those food cravings when they hit. And then number 8, stabilizing your blood sugar. So many blood sugar fluctuations can result in excessive hunger and sugar cravings. So just remember, when you have sugar, then you're going to have a shoot up of insulin. And then from that, you're going to be more hungry. So insulin always overshoots the estimated amount of sugar that's circulating. And so what happens when the insulin overshoots is it's taking care of all the sugar, bringing it into the cell. You have a little bit more circulating insulin. And so boom, you're going to be hungry. So having sugar is just going to lead to more sugar cravings. It's just a perpetual cycle. So just remember, if you're avoiding sugar, which you should be during this gut reset program, you'll be in good shape. You won't have the constant cravings that most people have when they're constantly eating sugar. And then the key is to eat in a way to stabilize it. So try eating protein and fiber at every meal, or at least protein at that meal and then fiber at a meal. One or the two, but both is optimal. If you're prone to blood sugar drops, eat protein and fiber every 2 to 3 hours, even if you're not hungry. So you're just prophylactically making sure that you're stabilizing your blood sugar ahead of time. So we do have quite a many people that come in our office with blood sugar regulation issues. And so we will use a couple of different ways to help us get that. And one of them is to have the protein and fiber every 2 to 3 hours. Once we do some adrenal work, because a lot of times it has to do with your adrenal glands, we do some work with the adrenal glands, and then usually we can resolve that, but we still do every 2 to 3 hours while we're working on the adrenals. And then after a little while, your body can handle spacing it out a little bit more than 2 to 3 hours. If some foods make you hungrier or tired within a few hours after eating, avoid them. Again, we're going to be doing a food log. And so if you have the food log, we can start looking like, okay, wait a minute, I'm tired. What did I eat 3 hours ago? What did I eat 6 hours ago? When we start looking at these foods, we can sometimes identify a potential food allergen, or a food that just is causing an intolerance to the body. And so one of those symptoms, a lot of times that symptom is loss of energy. And so if we notice that loss of energy, we can start trying to pinpoint maybe what food that we ate, so that we can maybe try removing it and seeing if we notice, oh, wow, that definitely was a food, or even putting it back in the diet and doing a little experiment to see, oh, okay, yeah, it made me tired. Definitely want to pull that that food out for this 30-day gut reset program. Number 9, we want to identify triggers. So some people have foods, emotions, different situational triggers that tend to cause mindless or uncontrollable eating. So it may be a bad day at the office. It may be, say a boyfriend or girlfriend. It may be a family member. It may be, say a pet that's causing stress. So there's a lot of things, even some children having some, problematic seasons with, with children, disciplining them. So just know what your triggers are. And that way we can know how to plan ahead to avoid them or to deal with them in a different way than just eating different foods that are just going to keep us in this perpetual cycle. So these could be chocolate or ice cream, sadness or stress, sleep deprivation, situations or events such as a sports event or movie theater. So knowing what your triggers are, be prepared with a plan ahead of time, or avoid these triggers. So example, move your body instead of eating when you feel those emotions come on. So like we had talked about, going for a walk, going for a drive, picking up a book to read, going through some of the motivation affirmations that we've prepared for you, and doing some of those will just be a distraction for you. And then number 10, managing your mindset. So negative beliefs about yourself and your progress make it harder to succeed with improving your health. So the all or none thinking, like I had a bite, I might as well just eat everything. You don't do that, because what you'll get into a habit of doing on this 30-day gut reset program is having this little stash and you have it and you're like, oh, I'll just eat the whole bag. So don't get pulled into that all or none thinking, dwelling on the negatives, such as focusing on what you're missing out of instead of what you get to eat, or on your progress. So if you are just looking at what people are eating around you and say that you're doing a lot of socializing during this time, just focus on your why, focus on what you have to look forward to when your body becomes healthier instead of focusing on the negatives. Also undervaluing yourself. So putting yourself down or thinking you don't deserve to be healthy. Everyone deserves to be healthy. No matter what your history, your health history is, everyone deserves to be healthy. Using should or tomorrow statements like, well, I'll just start back tomorrow, or, I should have done this. So just making sure we're watching how we're speaking, some of that internal talk, those narratives that we're listening to. Make sure that we're using positive and reinforcing statements, and also self-shame about appearance. And so, sometimes we look in the mirror and we're just not happy with what we see in the mirror. And so sometimes that can just be one of those triggers that puts us into, well, it doesn't matter, look what I look like. I'm going to go eat a bag of chips, or I'm going to go eat a chocolate bar. So just remember, don't be focusing or dwelling on the negative. If you don't like your body image, we're here, to help you with some of that. A lot of people dealing with self-shame or like depressive thoughts, a lot of it can be stemming from the gut, and throwing off some of our neurotransmitters. And so this program will not only help retrain us, but it's going to do so many great things for the gut. And one of them is even looking at our mood and our thoughts, and our awareness, what we feel like every day. It is going to do a lot of good for that. You are not your thoughts, and your thoughts are not reality. So focus on the wins, be compassionate with yourself, and give yourself grace. And remember, mistakes can happen, like an unintentional small cross-contamination at a restaurant. It's okay. If croutons get put on your salad, you can pull them off, but don't just beat yourself up about that. But do watch if there's intentional or uncontrollable eating. That is something that we do have a choice in, and we can stop. So just keep those in mind. All right, so we are coming to a close now, and we just want to share with you our own personal testimony. We're humans just like you guys are. We've had to overcome temptations around foods, and it can be done. I have to watch quite a few foods, and I've studied it. I've looked, at my diet and my response, my emotional response and my triggers. I know what they are. And it's just not worth it. I always say this quote, looking at the different foods that we're eating, nothing tastes as good as feeling good. So there's no food out there that tastes as good as, being down and out for 3 days depressed. There's no food out there that tastes good enough to make me have a sinus infection. There's no food out there that tastes as good as making me have heart palpitations. So we just have to reframe the way that we think about food. And, we've been there. We're real people. We deal with temptations as well. But it's a practice. It's something that we practice, and we're not perfect, but, we use the 80-20 rule. And I would say 80% of the time, we're really watching what we eat. Because it's amazing to feel good, to get up every day and to feel good, and make sure that we're doing this one day at a time. We don't want to try to see what we're supposed to look like in 2 weeks, or what we're supposed to feel like in 2 weeks. It's one day at a time, and we're going to have great results at the end of this 30 days if we're just taking it one day at a time. Remember, we are here if you have any issues. We have the email address help@drericsnow.com. I have that hooked up to a customer service app on my phone. And so I'm usually responding, as quick as I can within a few hours, but just make sure to give us 24 hours to respond, because we do have full work days too. But we will get back to you within 24 hours. And we want to hear your testimonies. We love testimonies. So all along the way, share them. Don't wait to the end to share. If you feel like you've overcome even a small thing, it's not, if it's big to you, it's big to us. We want to hear about it. So make sure you email your testimonies to us as well. We want to hear them. We want to celebrate with you. And we just want to say again, thank you for participating in this program. We've helped so many people. It's an amazing program, and we want to see you be successful too. So, thank yourself for doing this for yourself, for your health, for your family, for your friends, for your coworkers. If you are a better you because your health, you've put it as a priority and you feel great every day, your relationships are going to be so much more rewarding. So this is a great opportunity that you've decided to participate in. So we're going to go ahead and open up. We're going to take 5 questions from the chat box. So I'm going to check those. So the first one is, why is it so important to get off all the avoid foods? So we did provide an avoid food list. Make sure that you have downloaded and print that out, put it on your fridge, or just have it downloaded on your phone. So when you're in the grocery store shopping, you know what foods are on the avoid list. But you want to make sure that you do refrain from those foods, because what we're looking at with all these avoid foods is that they are gut irritants. And so most of you by now should have watched the video on the science behind the Gut Reset program, where we talked about gut irritants. And so every time we're allowing a gut irritant to be consumed, we're just wreaking havoc again on that tissue that we're trying to get healed. So that gut tissue, we got to calm it, we got to heal it, and we got to get it back, to where it is, where it operates proficiently and it operates correctly. So every time that we consume another gut irritant, it's just further causing the gut wall. It should be nice and tight like this. We're just causing an inflammation. So it's sort of like a leaky gut. So the walls are open and allowing those proteins to come in and slide straight into the bloodstream. So make sure that, you're doing the very best that you can to avoid these gut irritants, because the longer stretch that you have without the gut irritants on board, the more that your gut can do its job of healing. God, made our guts to heal, our bodies to heal. And so our gut tissue can heal if we're refraining from these gut irritants. Let's see. Another question. Okay, so what's the best coffee substitute? And then the best way to step down off of coffee. So we hear this very often. A lot of people, coffee is just one of those habits that they do in the morning, and they can't even see how their day would go without having that cup of coffee or 2 or 3 cups of coffee. Totally understand, and I've totally been there before. So I would say for the gut reset program, avoid these coffee substitutes that you'll see in health food stores. Most of them, and I've not ever seen one that's not loaded with grains. And so we have to make sure that we're getting the grains out. Grains are very irritating to the gut. And so I know maybe something may look like, oh, this is a great substitute, but these coffee substitutes, if you flip over and look at the ingredient list, you're going to see that it's loaded with grains, or at least the first couple of ingredients are grains, and maybe there's some other things in there. So what we have found as the best coffee substitute would be dandelion tea. And again, everybody's different. Some people can handle it well, and some people can't. So again, it's listening to your body and knowing what your body can handle. But that's one substitute. You can do a decaf coffee, but just remember, decaf coffee still contains some caffeine. And so what we're trying to do is get away from the caffeine, because again, caffeine is a gut irritant. You can use a decaffeinated green tea. Again, there will be a little bit of caffeine, but probably a better choice to do decaf green tea versus decaf coffee if we're looking at side by side the amount of caffeine. And so I would say that would be another good substitute. But make sure if you want to just run the coffee substitute that you're looking at, run it by us on our email. I'm happy to share my thoughts with you on what you're looking at for a coffee substitute. All right, let's look at another question. Okay, looking for the best protein mix. So I know a lot of people, they're working out, and so they want to make sure that they're doing a safe protein. And so there are a lot of protein shake mixes that I say over the counter, but you can buy at a health food store, even Whole Foods. And they have a lot of ingredients in them. And so what we found that works the best for doing the gut reset program and getting people away from these gut irritants. So even if the main protein is safe, but it has all these additives in there. And so we may get in trouble with like a couple of the ingredients in the protein mix. So we would say that the safest way to have a protein shake is to do a plain hemp protein. And so Nutiva is a brand that I've bought before. I think I have some in the kitchen right now, but it's just a straight plain hemp protein. And so you can go on the shopping list and find some of the different items that you can add to it. So I know, I've done it before with just water and avocado and a couple drops of stevia. That works really good. You can add just a couple of berries. So remember, we're cutting a lot of the sugar out, but berries are safe and they are on the shopping list. So anything in small amounts fruit, you can put in there that's on the safe list. And if you need a little sweeter, you can add a couple drops of stevia. And if you tolerate coconut, I know some people have a problem with it, but there's coconut butter or coconut manna, coconut oil, you can add to it to get a good oil in there. So if you have any questions as far as protein mixes, again, make sure that you email us, help@drericksnow.com, and we can help you with that. But easiest way to not be sitting looking through all these ingredient lists on protein powders is to just pick up the Nutiva hemp protein mix. It's plain. Now they do have chocolate, vanilla, different flavors. Make sure that you get the plain one. And then from there, you have a base that you can add safe foods to it, blend it, or you can just shake it up with water and drink it. And to me, that's the easiest way, uncomplicated. So you can do your workout, have your protein afterwards, and just keep moving. All right, a couple more questions. All right. So in the safe foods list and the shopping list, there's a product called Just Egg. And so we've had questions around, where do I find that or what is that? So it is a specialty item, but it is in some of the recipes. And I know for some people, you can use the ground flaxseed and water, and it makes a great egg substitute if you're using it in a baking and a recipe. So you'll see that as an alternative in some of the recipes for egg. However, if you're trying to make what tastes like an egg, like you're cooking an egg, the Just Egg is the only thing I found that's close, that's still a safe food and a healthy food. So you can find that at a Whole Foods. Sprouts also has it. And there's some bigger health food stores that'll have that, but make sure if you have a local health food store and they don't carry it, just ask them. A lot of these health food stores are very accommodating to make sure that they're taking care of their customers. And so all you have to do is ask them, and a lot of times they'll order the product for you. So it's just called Just Egg. And they have two versions. They have a version that you can pour out and make like scrambled eggs. It's in a little carton. And then they have the already made Just Egg. It's cooked and it's folded into these little bags, and you can buy that in the freezer section. And so you take it out and it's like an already cooked scrambled egg in a square shape. So either one's fine. You can use either versions, whatever, it's a preference, whichever one you prefer. But it's a great product. And so if you're someone that's used to eating eggs and you're cutting eggs out, that's the closest thing that I've found to an actual egg. All right, we have one more question, and that is, why is paprika not allowed in the recipes? So, so I'll give you a little background. The paprika is actually a nightshade. And so you'll see many of the nightshades are on the avoid list, and there's even a section of just them. And so eggplants, peppers, tomatoes, white potatoes, paprika, tomatillos. So these are all in the nightshade family, and they are notorious gut irritants, every part of them. And so we're just going to take those out for a little while. I know it's sad because a lot of people like tomatoes, especially when it's tomato season. However, remember, it's just a 30-day window. We are going to take care of our guts for 30 days. And so just remember, it's temporary. It's not forever. And as we start reintroducing foods, which we'll talk about on the next coaching call, we'll make sure that we address how we're going to introduce these foods back into the diet if you decide to add them back into your diet. Some people just know, hey, tomatoes have never been a friend of mine, and that's okay. We don't want to put them back in if you already know that that's a problematic food. And so only the foods we do want to introduce back into the body, we're going to talk about that on the next coaching call, how to safely introduce them back. And so that is all the time we have for questions. Again, we thank you all for being on this call. Any questions, make sure that you email us. We want to make sure that you are very successful, and it comes with making sure that you feel confident in what you are doing. So remember, let us know your testimonials. If you want to do a little video testimonial, we'd love to see those and share those with the rest of the people that are participating in this Gut Reset program. And here's to transforming your health naturally. We'll see you next time. I'm Dr. Katie Snow. Bye-bye.